To baseball, as GM meetings are still underway in Orlando. The big things from Brian Cashman today. The prospects of all prospects, Gleyber Torres will be competing with Chase Headley for the starting third base job come spring training. Cashman also gave us a status report on the hunt for a new manager in the Bronx.
I'm trying, instead of create a whole host of articles about who's on our list, and when I schedule it, I'll reach out to the candidate. And some leak, some might not. I can't remember if Wedge leaked before or not, but that'll happen. I don't worry about that stuff, but I'm not going to reach out to the entire list right now.
Moving on to the Mets, who expressed that, yes, they will be aggressive this offseason. They sort of have to be. Part of that equation is David Wright, who the Mets may or may not have at third base to start the season. With Asdrubal Cabrera back in the mix, it's a position John Ricco addressed today.
I think, the fair way to characterize it, is we have to get to spring training and see how he feels. And, given the fact this isn't just a couple of months, it's been a while now. Being fair to us and him, we have to plan for him not to be ready, and if he is, we'll adjust. We saw at the end of the year, Cabrera, we think played pretty well there, and I think now that he's going to have a full spring training, I think he could definitely play there, but he does have versatility. So I don't think the reason you haven't seen Sandy commit one way or the other is because, there's a lot of options on the table that if we fill third base in some other way, maybe we move Asdrubal to another position.
Without Wright at all last season, the Mets are definitely in need of an everyday third baseman. If that's Asdrubal Cabrera remains to be seen. The Mets are likely to upgrade one of the corner spots this winter. Andy Martino joined Doug Williams from Orlando on Baseball Night in New York earlier today.
Andy, I think people know, generally speaking, what happens in off seasons. We know about the winter meetings per se, but what exactly is happening? What are you covering right now?
Well, Doug, for me personally, it's a very tough time because it's time away from Doug Williams in New York on that couch. But for baseball more globally, it's like the very beginning of the offseason. It's slow moving. Agents are arriving, starting to meet with teams. Tires are definitely kicked, but there's also just a lot of league business happening. John Ricco told me earlier that he spent, and Sandy Alderson also spent most of today in briefings from Commissioner Rob Manfred about league issues like by pace of play, and they're talking about whether that ball is in fact juice, and there are physicists talking about the ball, and it's that kind of stuff. But all the GMs are here in one small hotel, just right around the corner in the bar is Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer, the Cubs, and a whole bunch of their counterparts, and they're chit-chatting. So business starts, but you're still in the internal phase where teams are talking internally in terms of, well, what are the agents saying? What are the other teams saying? What can we do? And then we leave here tomorrow, and then it accelerates over the next couple of weeks and becomes a crescendo of action, of course, in December at the winter meetings.
All right, well, let's see what you've learned, Danny. Let's do some rapid-fire questions. We're trying to figure out a clever way to do this segment, but all we settled on was yes, no, or maybe, really creative. So try and answer the following with these three options. The Mets sign Lorenzo Cain, Andy.
No. No. They have Juan Lagares, they like him, and that just doesn't seem to fit their budget to me.
So much for kicking the tires. The Mets sign Carlos Santana.
No. Debbie Downer over here. Look, my information, Santana was a topic today. My information is that they met with the agent, as teams do in November, but it's very unlikely that that's a fit.
The Mets signed Todd Frazier, Debbie Downer.
I'm going to give that tire a maybe. It's semi-deflated. They're looking more for a first base outfield type. The thing with a first base, third base type, like Frazier, is that they have, in addition to Dom Smith, of course, they have options as Asdrubal Cabrera, Wilmer Flores there. So Frazier probably not, but maybe. We'll see how that market develops.
Also, apparently he's from Toms River, New Jersey. I hadn't heard that. All right, a guy throwing heat in the postseason, Brian Shaw for the Indians. The Mets sign him.
I am going to say yes on that one. Between the need for a back-end reliever, that's Sandy Alderson's top priority right now, to the relationship with Mickey Callaway, that one looks to me like a fit.